During the election, Donald Trump secured 80% of the evangelical vote. It was a huge, huge demographic that helped him win the election, which is ironic because based on the things that Donald Trump has both said and done, it seems as though he would go against evangelical morals. However, very recently, there was an evangelical individual who wrote an op-ed in the Christian Post that I want to give a lot of credit to. Even though I don't agree with Marvin Thompson on a lot of things, I have to give him credit for consistency. Here's what he had to say in his piece. He says, consider further what we know about Trump, about his lack of moral compass and his unabashed embrace of it, he wrote, citing Trump's many attacks on women, the disabled, and what he called Trump's contempt for God. He also says nothing has changed since his election as president, except he now has the power to propagate his warped morality. This power was given to him by the evangelicals.
Very true. 85% of evangelicals, no, I'm sorry, 81% of evangelicals voted for Donald Trump. They had 85% voter turnout, which is shocking. So they all turned out and said, yes, give us the guy who grabs women by their genitals involuntarily. When we said Bill Clinton besmirched the White House, this guy does it without asking for permission. And by the way, has had dozens of affairs that are reported in the press. We said when Bill Clinton did it, we thought it was the worst thing a person could do. We knew this guy did it over and over again. There's stories about how his pregnant wife goes upstairs in the middle of an interview and he tries to sleep with the reporter.
That's insane.
And they put him in the White House. When one of the evangelical leaders, Jerry Falwell Jr., came in and took a picture with Donald Trump in his office while endorsing him, there's a picture of Donald Trump on the cover of Playboy magazine. Now, remember, Falwell's dad famously had a huge fight with Hustler because it was dirty, terrible porn. Meanwhile, there's a porn magazine featuring Trump right behind him as they take the smiling picture. Oh, we don't care about morality anymore. Who cares? We were lying the whole time, didn't mean it. We just want a guy who's vicious and mean and right wing. And all the other stuff we were saying was totally not true. Now, again, like you said, credit to this guy. He apparently did mean it. We might disagree on the substance,
right,
but at least he's pointing out the hypocrisy.
He's pointing out the hypocrisy, and he's consistent in his ideology and what he considers to be morals, right? Because I think people have different interpretations of what is and isn't moral. And so it's one thing if there was one issue with Trump, like let's say he's a womanizer, that goes against their morals, but they still love a lot of things about him, so they'll support him. With Trump, there's so many things. There's actually this excellent piece done on Facebook. We posted it on the Young Turks Facebook page, where this one brilliant woman actually lists all the different ways that Trump goes against evangelical morality. Take a look. So here's a little tough love for my religious friends who continue to support Trump. You made an embarrassingly poor choice. Finding excuses for the human Cheeto only makes you look foolish. And then I have to make these videos poking fun of how clownish you look. Homeboy has a bunch of kids from 3 different women. He's constantly boasting about his wealth.
I'm really rich.
He's misogynistic, vain, vengeful, and a host of other immoral things that your religion is supposed to rail against. Oh, she makes so many good points. I mean,
I actually did not see that coming. And I was like, who's this amazing woman that we found?
I don't actually think I'm amazing. I just think it's funny because I made that video earlier this week and then I came across Marvin Thompson, who again, even though I don't share his ideology, I have a tremendous amount of respect for because he's right? He's showing the hypocrisy of, Donald Trump's voters, and I think that that's important.
But look, we knew they never cared, that all of it is just a punchline to them. They reelected Desjardins in Tennessee. He's a Republican congressman that admitted to having his wife and mistress in total have 3 abortions. He claimed to be pro-life. When they asked him, Jesus, man, 3 abortions? He's like, no, but you don't understand. We needed them. Oh, I see. And all those supposed pro-life right-wing voters in Tennessee were like, oh, as long as a right-winger does these abortions and has his mistress get one too, and he's cheated on his wife over and over again, we'll keep on reelecting him because we were kidding. We never meant anything about morality. We're not actually pro-life. We don't actually care about sex. All we want to do is hate liberals, hate the foreigners, hate the others, and hate the gays. And we're just looking for an excuse. And in this case, evangelical Christianity is the vehicle for our hatred. Everything else is just window dressing and marketing. Membership helps fund the Young Turks. You know one great thing about that? That means we're not accountable to anyone but you guys. That's why we're strong together, because we built this show around you. Come build it even bigger and better at tytnetwork.com/join.